Hey legends, welcome along to Here's Rodder's Reviews. We're getting onto a show here that I want to recommend that you go check out as soon as possible. If you're into that early 80s style of just feel good viewing with a bit of comedy for you on there, well actually a heck of a lot of comedy for you on there, this is definitely a show you need to check out. Now usually I like to check out the entire run of a show before I sit down and recommend it, but this one, I'm having such a good time with it. I'm about 5, 6, maybe 7 episodes into it at this point, and I'm doing the recommendation now because it is that good. It is called The Greatest American Hero, and essentially in this show, think Superman if he didn't know what he was doing and had to learn how to be Superman without the Fortress of Solitude and all the learning that he got from his father in the Fortress of Solitude and whatnot. And Superman comes out and he's completely has all the abilities to be Superman, knows all his strengths, how to use them and whatnot. Now you think, take a character they got there who ends up in a situation where he gets the chance to become a superhero but loses the instruction booklet on how to do it. That's essentially what this series is. In the opening episode, the main character in it, played by Robert Catt, he plays a teacher called Ralph Hinckley, who is he's a teacher of a high school class that's like a special class that are problem students that just aren't working in the system. And in the opening episode, like, the classroom is not working for these kids, so he takes them out on a field trip, ends up way out in the desert with them. Out there he comes across an FBI agent played by Robert Gulp, called Bill Maxwell, whose partner has been murdered by this like terrorist organization that are posing as a religious fanatical group, and they cross paths, and then the unexpected happens. This UFO shows up, and the partner of Bill Maxwell that was murdered at the beginning of the episode comes down. There's a beam of light comes from the UFO. He turns up with this little suitcase sort of a deal and explains that, yes, I'm dead, but I'm going off with these guys now, and they have came here to gift a suit to a hero for the earth, essentially. So it turns out Ralph Hinckley is the only person that's compatible with this suit. Nobody else can use it but him. So yes, they wind up with this suit. Bill Maxwell comes up with the idea that him as an FBI agent has all these missions and whatnot that needs to be completed, and having his own little superhero to help him out is going to be the game changer for his career. So they team up, and all's fine and well. So far, the aliens leave, give him this suit, and there's an instruction booklet with it, but Ralph Hinckley is a little bit silly in his real life, and he manages to lose the instruction booklet for the suit and how to use it. So throughout the entire run of the series so far, Ralph ends up in all these situations in every episode where he's helping out the FBI anonymously as the superhero. He's constantly helping them, trying to hide from the authorities, more or less, and Bill Maxwell's not going to let it out that Ralph is this guy in this red suit that's showing up every once in a while. But it's very, very good. The fact that he loses this instruction booklet how to use this super suit, it means everything that he can do as a superhero, essentially. If he wears a suit, He's bulletproof, you name it, whatever. Essentially, whatever Superman can do, he can do with his suit on, and it's fun to watch. Now the visual effects in the show aren't fantastic. It is back in 1981. It ran for 3 seasons, and it was produced by Stephen J. Cannell. So, a lot of those old shows from back in the 80s. It's one of these ones that, unfortunately, seems to have fallen off the radar. A lot of shows back then got a bit of a real cult following in a way, and you tend to hear about most of them somewhere along the line. But The Greatest American Hero was one that I never really heard tell of before. Now, in saying that, I was born in 79. This came out whenever I was 2 years old, so obviously it was successful enough to get 3 seasons, but it didn't seem to be one of these shows that ended up in repeats throughout the 80s. That's because if it did, I would have heard about it, or at least have had some sort of memory of it. But yeah, it's a very, very good show. It's weird and it's wacky. The character of Ralph Hinckley is great. The relationship between him and Bill Maxwell, the FBI agent, is great, and the quippy one-liners that you're getting from Maxwell, the FBI agent, are phenomenal. Absolutely good. Connie Salika is in this, as well as a lawyer, Pam Davison, who's the love interest of Ralph Hinckley. It's great. One thing that I did notice watching throughout the first few episodes, we're getting into the sort of close to the centre of season 1 right now, is like the character of Ralph Hinckley starts off, and a few episodes in, people start referring him to Ralph Hanley instead of Ralph Hinckley, and I thought to myself, right, that's quite weird. But taking a check online here, it turns out that his character's surname was changed from Hinckley to Hanley for a part of season 1 as like a show of respect for the assassination attempt on Ronald Reagan. So Reagan was shot and wounded. 3 others were shot and wounded as well by a guy called John Hinckley Jr. in March of 1981. So Hinckley's name was changed to Hanley to show a bit of respect towards these people. And yeah, that's kind of hit me as something that you probably wouldn't see today. People don't seem to show that same level of respect these days. I don't know, it just seems everything that's going on the planet these days, people just kind of, they almost seem to like, okay, that happened, we'll talk about it for a few days and we'll just go on for lives and whatnot. But for somebody to take the time and to show that bit of respect through a show that they're producing, to change the name of one of their characters for a while, if they had changed it and left it with Hanley throughout the rest of the run of the series, would have been a bit more respectable. But they did, after a while, change it back to Hinckley, after the dust kind of settled in that whole situation. But the show itself, so far, I'm having a fantastic time with it. It's a really, really feel-good show where you sit down, sheer bubblegum for the brain, hard to beat. And there's a beautiful little episode, literally just finished watching yesterday there, where Ralph goes through that moment where most of the heroes go through, where they're questioning themselves whether they want to keep going at it or hang it up, because, as I say, he loses the instruction booklet for the suit, so he's trial and error, and every time he tries to fly, he never lands on his feet. Most of the time he'll land in his mouth and nose, and yes, it's hilarious. But there's a great episode there where he meets the guy that played the Lone Ranger, and the Lone Ranger actually gives him some advice on what a hero should be, sort of a thing. So there's a lot of good stuff in it, very emotional stuff as well, a lot of comedy. It's a good mix of everything in there. It is not going to be a waste of your time. So if you've never checked out The Greatest American Hero, definitely have a look for it online if you can get hold of it. And it's one of these shows where I would even recommend you buying the DVD box set of it, because I feel, in my humble opinion, that it is that good. That's going to do it, guys. Hope you enjoyed the episode, and I'll talk to you in the next one.